I guess, okay, and here's the one situation here. Are there other ones you're saying? I mean,
well, I'm very familiar with that one because I farm and grew up in the area. I bet there are others too.
I mean, and I don't know precisely where we are in acquisition of this parcel at this point, but from the DOT's perspective, we don't want to buy any more than we have to. Whether anyone, I mean, we can certainly go back and look at this. Again, we were looking at this from the standpoint that is a landlocked parcel, and then again, that's when we have to buy it. That's why it was chosen this way. I guess I can certainly take that back and say, is it? I don't know where we are in acquisition here. Because we have borrow site here and here, so it does appear like this one might be something we can.
But it makes good common sense to me when you are going to be landlocked on the one that you purchased for whatever's left in the middle. This other one isn't, and I guess I would hope through the process that DOT would ask those questions and other than just looking at the map and saying there's different initials here, are they associated or not? In this case, they are.
Parcel on N28 really though is landlocked.
Right, this is not landlocked.
The other thing,
you have access through the area that's considered ponding easements, but
that's if you're paying for ponding easement, don't you assume there will be water there?
No, not always. I mean, you basically assume that wherever it was probably a low area, but if you put an entrance in, as far as
you still have to be able to cross the water in the spring and winter.
Right.
And you're obviously indicating that you think that it will be water standing, or you wouldn't be paying the easement.
I mean, not every year either, but basically that's why the whole purpose of these were the fact that we're putting the embankment on 20, that it's taking up potholes where water used to go, and so there's a possibility that they feel this for some period of time will be higher than.
And so that's why I think you have to consider it landlocked because of the water easement that you're paying for.
the other thing is they won't haul any dirt across N28 typically. Because it'd be two different contracts.
Yeah. And then we don't have the Calhoun County map and have no idea where the next borrow pit is. We know where the next borrow pit is in Sac County.
Well, where the roads, like N24, when those county roads come up, is there a turning lane?
Yeah, every paved road we have turning lanes on 20.
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
They base,
that for granular.
To get an overpass, you have to have a certain amount of traffic count.
Yeah, the only interchanges we're having is Iowa 4 and 71, and then there's an overpass. There is an overpass that we added back here, well, actually before the public meeting, but at one time I believe this is intended not to keep 230th open, but that was changed early on.
There's the N14.
N14's got an
That's right. And a lot of what they look at as far as we have all the at grades as well. But the reason why this went to an overpass is because of the curvature. We didn't want to have an at grade with the super. And that was so I can certainly check into that and see where we are with this, and if there is any reason, again, with this being having access, it changes, but it is how we determined it, I guess. Was that the primary concern, or you're just saying in general, have we looked at borrows in that way?
It doesn't matter where it's at, as far as...
I mean, our goal is to acquire the least amount of right-of-way necessary. And again, I guess that when and I think that's the way we're headed on Corn Belt. I believe this, not 100% sure, but I believe that they're wanting us to purchase this as well, which obviously could have other same type of
Can we ask, and I'm going to, in those parcels that are determined possibly landlocked, but my personal interest is that as few of acres remain in DOT hands as, or DNR as necessary, because the taxation is lost. And so what is the process once you've acquired what you need? What happens? Do you or will you consider them selling it back?
Definitely.
Okay.
Well, the process is basically once, and we're going to wait until we're done with the entire project before seeding and everything before we start selling excess land back. But once we determine what the excess land is, and I believe, for instance, on the borrows, I believe when we put plats together, we defined it in two ways. One, what we need permanent right-of-way, plus we defined an excess right-of-way plat. We do that quite often because you know we're not going to want to keep it. Now, to decide what we want to keep besides the obvious, you know, that we probably don't want to, we don't want to have any borrows that when we're done, because it's just a liability. You know, we have no need for it, and we want to get back on the tax rolls. The only reason why we would want to keep a piece, which doesn't apply here, is if for some reason we needed to upgrade a maintenance garage, and we needed some land, and we already acquired it. We may use that for highway purposes for the maintenance garage, but again, that doesn't apply here. If there was a wetland mitigation within this project that we required because we disturbed some wetlands, had to mitigate, that's the case when we may look for someone like the DNR to take that over to maintain it, because we have a perpetual responsibility forever to maintain that as a wetland for what we create.
What's the stream, on where the bridges are on the Raccoon River? What's it mean? I say stream mitigation.
We're changing
the flow pattern
of the stream.
So you have to give us.
I'm more familiar, I guess, with wetland mitigation and how we do it.
Yeah.
That it's pretty rare that we change a stream, but my guess is we have to add the length back in somehow to that stream so that we try to keep it as simple. And I don't know what the ratio, usually it's a...
And that's why you're negotiating to buy that property, so you have the flexibility to do that.
That's right. And, but as far as anything else on this, there is no wetland mitigation. Everything we're mitigating on this project is being done in Webster County. It's in the same drainage area, so we're able to do that. We haven't addressed or looked at wetlands from the end of this project in Sac County to the west.
Do you know offhand or off the top of your head what needed to be mitigated in Sac County?
I don't have that with me. And I don't even remember what the ratio is. It's not a 1-to-1. If we destroy or disturb 2 acres, it may be 1.5-to-1 or something like that,
yes.
Or 2-to-1. I don't recall.
You're on the short side. I was thinking that if you did 2, you do 0.5 of the 2 or something like that.
If we disturb, no, we have to restore more than what we disturb.
Really?
Yeah. I know I don't remember what the ratio is, but it's either 1.5 or 2 or something like that.
I think the ratio depends on a couple things: how close you are to where you're putting it versus where you're disturbing it.
In fact, we have wetland people.
You think that is they're required to do more because in the ag sector you're not?
Oh yeah?
Don't believe so.
Well, we have to go at least 1-to-1.
I thought it was a fraction less than 1. I'm not 100%.
And I know our wetland people, they bend over backwards to try to keep the agencies happy because, the more we try to help with that process, it's easier to get our projects through. So I know it's at least, I'm sure it's no less than 1.5.